Have you ever had a look at a leaf before? The colour, the texture, the smell, the intricacy of the detail. Often when we think about creation, we think about the grandeur of mountains, and we forget how each tiny thing has so much detail. God is the God of creation. One of the few things that the disciples asked Jesus to teach them is how to pray. And Jesus gives them the Lord's Prayer. Now this prayer is probably the most profound prayer in history. It's theologically so rich, yet it's so simple and so beautiful. And the prayer begins as Jesus calls God Father, and He gives us permission to do the same. We often say this prayer by rote, but when you stop and you reflect upon the prayer, you see the power of the prayer. We also discover something of who God the Father is. The Father is holy and powerful. The Father longs for things on earth to be as they should be. The Father gives us what we need daily. The Father forgives us. He protects us. This prayer shows us who our Father in heaven really is. Every time we take a mouthful of some food, between 2,000 and 8,000 taste buds are detecting salt, sour, sweet, bitter flavours. And when we look at the stars at night time, that light is travelling at 186,000 miles per second, and the closest stars are 4.2 light years away. The complexity and the enormity of creation, and yet this Creator God, we get to call Him Father. Jesus goes on to talk about what it is to have an earthly father. And then it says, but how much better is our Father in heaven? He says these words, ask and you shall receive. Seek and you will find. Knock and the door shall be opened unto you. In the very next scene, Jesus is casting out a demon. And people say, by what authority and how do you do such a thing? Jesus explains it's the finger of God. It's God's Spirit at work. See, that's the Father. He wants to bring healing, bring restoration to each of us. And having done this miracle, a lady says, wow, blessed be your mother. And Jesus says, no, not blessed be my mother, but blessed are those who obey the commands of God. Again, Jesus redefined what it is to be family, that ultimately we have a Father in heaven. In our relationship with the Father, Jesus says, ask and you shall receive. Seek and you will find. Knock and the door shall be opened unto you. As we think about God, the Creator, being our Father, I challenge you this week to look at the Lord's Prayer, to pray the Lord's Prayer, not to pray it by rote, but to pray it with passion and to reflect upon the Father that each of us can know as our own.